We put some pictures up last night of Matthew Perry hours before he tragically died.
Less than 24 hours, really.
And the story we're about to tell you underscores what we have said from the beginning, which is that we heard from a lot of people he was in a very good place mentally, physically, and he was living his life and the trajectory was upward.
Right. And the young lady who was sitting at the table with him at the Hotel Bel Air on the day before, on Friday afternoon, around 2:30, they had, from all reports from people who were there, that there was a very intense, not intense, but engaged conversation, that Matthew really wasn't paying any attention to his food or drink and was having this conversation with a woman who we didn't realize who it was until after we posted the photo. And then she actually spoke out about that final meal, that final date that Matt had with, her name is Athena Crosby. She is a 25-year-old model and entertainment reporter here in town. And this is what she had to say about that day. She said, "I'm so devastated from his death, but felt it was in poor taste to talk about it publicly, as the attention should not be on me, but rather on him and his legacy. But indeed, we were friends, and I was one of the last people to speak to him and see him before he passed. I want to emphasize that Matthew was in extremely good spirits and talked to me enthusiastically about the things he had coming up in his life. He was so happy and vibrant. Please refrain from any speculation surrounding his death and know that the man was on a comeback and truly deserved more time on this earth."
So we told you about the fact that he had already signed on to a movie in which he was going to star. It was going to be a drama, that he had several TV projects, episodic projects, for series actually, that he was working on, and that aligns with everything that we were told.
Yeah, in very good spirits. And it actually just adds to the tragedy really, of him being gone, as Athena said there.
We actually spoke to her just kind of additionally, and she said he mentioned playing pickleball on Saturday and how excited he was for that. Now, of course, we know it was only a little time after he played pickleball when he went in the hot tub, and that's where he passed away. So just to kind of show, I mean, any speculation there may have been that, oh, maybe he took his life, maybe he was depressed, whatever, that just wasn't the case. You know, it just wasn't the case. This was clearly accidental or some sort of medical emergency, because he was in good spirits, was happy to exercise, and kind of was looking forward to each day ahead of him.
Now, speaking to the drug speculation about drug and an overdose, one of the tests that the coroner's office does in cases like this is there's an initial testing, a less in-depth test for things like fentanyl, because we've seen that so often in overdoses.
Right.
They did test for fentanyl. We know that they tested for meth as well.
And it was negative.
Negative. So that is not the situation here that we're dealing with.
And so we told you as well that these toxicology tests, because there were prescription drugs there, we have no idea if he even had taken them. But this is something that the coroner always does, and it's why the cause of death was deferred, because they want to look at the toxicology reports, analyze them, and then depending on what they saw physically, they're going to see if there's any connection between anything in the system and what actually happened. But as you said, you know, meth, fentanyl, no. The toxicology report probably will take minimum 6 weeks, and could take longer.
We were looking back at Lisa Marie Presley's case when she died. It took actually 6 or 7 months before they came back.
Months?
To toxicology. Yes, months.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Before it came back. So.
Unusual. It usually takes 6 to 12 weeks, but that's 7 months is really unusual.
Yeah, apparently LA County.
Yeah, they're super backed
up.
4 to 6 months is what they're saying now.
Yeah, I just have a feeling this is going to go faster, and they do that sometimes.
Sometimes they will, if they can. I mean, it just sounds like the county is really backed up. Though we've seen other cases outside of LA where it does come back much faster, but LA County has its own issues right now.
Trinity Moses from Williamsburg, Kentucky, here to talk about the Matthew Perry autopsy. I don't think that it was anything drug related. As far as illegal substances, I think that he was really focused on his recovery, and I think that he had been playing pickleball 2 hours prior. He was just simply exhausted and decided to go relax in the jacuzzi, and it was just he went into a deep sleep and it was an accident.
And again,
Yeah.
we don't know. The only thing we do know is no illegal drugs were found at the house. We know that we reported that when we did the story and broke it. But there were some prescription drugs. And again, we have no idea whether they played any part. And that's why nobody's going to know until this toxicology comes
By the
out.
way, I want to show you just a couple of photos here because Courtney Cox was actually out. And it was the first time that she'd been seen in public since Matthew's death.
She was in Nobu with
Went
her
to
boyfriend.
Nobu with her boyfriend. And I mean, you can tell she's been going through it. And we heard from the entire cast, obviously they're completely devastated and said that they just need more time before they speak out and say more. But obviously they're mourning his loss.